Howdy y'all, Caleb here. We're going to talk today about this insane spell combo that we have in Coalesced, where you can teleport Saurus just about anywhere you want to. So this is an interesting combination. I would say this is likely to get some type of FAQ whenever they do the FAQ for Saurus, or for Seraphon, that might touch on one or two of the aspects of this combination, but it'll probably stick around to some extent. So we may have to revisit this topic after the FAQ, but right now this is a really fun combination to use for your Coalesced Saurus army. So what we need for this combo to work is either Lord Croak or a Slann. Either one works. And Astrolith Bannerbearer, the Saurus Astrolith Bear, he's, a staple in every one of our armies, especially if you're doing any kind of casting. And then the Umbral Spell Porter, one of the endless spells. It can be used in this. It doesn't have to be, as we'll talk to here in a second. But adding the Umbral Spell Portal into this combo gives you some just incredible versatility and range. So the things that really make this work are going to be these three aspects. We have, first off, the spell lore for Coalesced for a Slann has the spell called the Telepathic Summons. Now let's read this. This is interesting. Has a casting value of 6 and a range of 9. Okay. It successfully cast, pick one friendly source unit that is not a monster and is visible to the caster. Remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield wholly within range of the caster. I think what they intended for this spell to be is you're grabbing a Saurus unit that's somewhere over across the board and you're bringing it back to you. But what you actually can do with this is you can take any source anywhere on the board, and you can extend that range pretty far. You can redeploy that unit. You can set that unit back up pretty far away from you. Because we have so many different ways to extend the range of our spells in Seraphon, this spell here gets pretty interesting. We have the standard Astrolith Bear, which is that second ability here, that extends it 6 inches further. We can read that one there. The second sentence of the Astrolith Bear Celestial Conduit adds 6 inches to the range of any spells cast by friendly Seraphon wizards within 12 of this model. So we do get to add 6 inches to that. So now it's a 15-inch range to reset up your Saurus unit. The interesting thing about that Telepathic Summons is that there is no restrictions on a range of enemy units. It doesn't say outside of 9 inches of the enemy. There's no restrictions on movement in the movement phase of that unit. Most of the time when you have an ability that allows you to teleport a unit or deploy a unit, it's going to say this unit cannot move in the movement phase. It doesn't say that here. So we can infer from that you can teleport this source unit into combat with an enemy unit, into combat range. So within 3 inches. And if you don't want to do that, you can move it to where, outside of 3, and then this unit still can move in the movement phase. So you have a lot of flexibility there, unless they FAQ this, that this spell offers. Let's assume that they wrote it the way they wanted to, and that we can do these fun abilities. The thing that really sets this combo just over the top is the Umbral Spell Portal. So you can cast this endless spell. You put one end of the endless of the spell portal within 1 inch of your caster, and the other end 18 inches away. And now you can put one spell through that Umbral Spell Portal, and you can measure from the other end of it instead of from the caster. All of a sudden, we can do Telepathic Summons, and we can measure from the other end of the Umbral Spell Portal instead of the caster. So this allows us to teleport a Saurus unit and put it within range of the other side of the spell portal. Very interesting combination and ability here. I've got the cumulative range listed down here at the bottom. So your spell portal, you're going to put it out 18 plus 6 from the Astrolith. So you can put the other end of the spell portal 24 inches away. And then your Telepathic Summons has a range of 9 plus 6 because of the Astrolith. So from the other end of the spell portal, you have 15 inches you can put your source unit into. That gives you a total of 39-inch range that you can teleport Saurus anywhere on the board to within 39 inches of basically your Slann. Just incredible versatility with that combination. 39 inches is generally the entire board. I mean, you're gonna be hard pressed not to find a spot to put that unit on the board. So very powerful, very powerful. The next slide here is we've got a sample list, and this one I did not include the Umbral Spell Portal just because I didn't feel, once I set this list up on the board, I didn't feel like I even needed the Umbral Spell Portal, but we'll look at how we can include it with this list if we wanted to. So it is in Kotal's Claw for Coalesced. Our leader is a Slann. I am making him the General, which I don't have General marked there, but he is the General. Command trait, Master of Material Plane, to give him 2 extra spells from the spell lore. Artifact, Atixi Grubs, so the Slann can heal and gets a reroll in the hero phases, so that'll really help us get off our important spells. We're taking as our standard spell Telepathic Summons, and then as our 2 extra Master of Material Plane spell, Empowered Celestite, which allows us to give +1 rend to a Saurus unit. Very good when we plan to teleport a Saurus unit. And then Earth Trembles, just to give us some mortal wounds if we need it. It's kind of like the discount Comet's Call. And then Aspect of the Champion, fueled by Gurish Rage, so that our Slann, if for some reason it gets killed, you have a pretty good chance to revive it and get some wounds back. Saurus Astrolith Bearer, to give all the pluses to cast and pluses to range. And then our Skink Star Priest is still critical to just about every list we're going to have, just like it has been for many ages. The Star Priest has a free ability where you can pass out a buff to a unit where any 6s to wound are a mortal wound in addition to their normal damage. So very good if you're doing lots of attacks, which our big units of Source will. I'm also taking the spell Heavenly Frenzy, and this is part of the reason why I didn't take Umbral Spell Portal, because Heavenly Frenzy allows a unit to run and still charge in that turn. So we can cast that on our Saurus Warriors, and then we don't even have to worry about Umbral Spell Portal. We're gonna teleport them, and then they can still move 5 plus a run, 6, and then still charge with a +1 to charge. So all of a sudden these 5-inch movement Saurus Warriors are pretty fast. Battle line, I've got some Saurus Guard to guard the Slann and the Astrolith Bear and the Star Priest, whatever's getting attacked. 30 Saurus Warriors for 600 points nowadays. That is 60 wounds on what will usually always be a 3-up save. And then I've got 9 Croxagore. Yes, you read that right. You can double reinforce Croxagore in Kotal's Claw because they are battle line. So a big old giant block of Croxagore. I've got a unit of Terra Wings, very good utility, and then a spawn of Chotek for possibly its buff. If it can do any damage in the shooting phase, you can reduce the save by its target by 1. So effectively give you an extra +1 rend to whatever's attacking that. That all fits in a battle regiment for exactly 2,000 points and 1 drop. If you want to take a Umbral Spell Portal, you can switch out the spawn pretty easily. You could mess around. There's quite a bit of leeway here. The Croxagore is probably the thing you would swap out with something else. You can take out the Croxagore and Terror Wings and throw in another 30 Source Warriors if you want to be able to teleport 2 units one turn after the other. So there is quite a bit of flexibility here if you want the Umbral Spell Portal on there. Your Croxagore, Terror Wings, and Spawn are probably what you'd be playing around with. So some good buffs here to buff up the unit of warriors before you send them in, and then you've still got your Croxagore to clean up what's left after that. I do have our little cheat sheet here. Here's what happens in the hero phase. If you're playing this combination with the Umbral Spell Portal, you know which unit you're doing. Your 30 block of warriors is what you're teleporting. You're going to hit them with your Serpent Staff, so they do mortal wounds on wounds of 6. You're hitting them with Mystic Shield, probably from the Star Priest as its spell, since you don't need the run and charge if you've got the Umbral Spell Portal. So now those warriors that are base 4, they're going to be 3 up because you're going to give them contesting an objective. You got another Mystic Shield for another +1, so they're on an effective 2 up save. Slann is going to cast Empowered Celestite to give him +1 to rend, Umbral Spell Portal, and then Telepathic Summons to teleport him wherever you want within 39 inches. If you don't have this Umbral Spell Portal, this still works very well. We've got the same buff from the Skink Star Priest, the Serpent Staff. Then we'll do Heavenly Frenzy. So this just makes it to where if you can't get him as far as you want in the actual teleport, if you're only going 15 inches, you've still got another 11-inch run and then a charge that you can make off of that. So you've still got plenty of space here, plenty of threat range to get wherever you need to go. Slann would still cast Empowered Celestite to give him +1 rend, and then I'd probably throw Mystic Shield on him from the Slann instead of, if we're not doing this, Umbral Spell Portal. Then finally we got the Telepathic Summons to teleport him. In the shooting, I'm going to try to get my Terror Wings onto whatever unit we're throwing these guys into to make sure they can't do all-out defense. And then the Spawn of Chotek hopefully reduces the target unit's save by 1. And then after the warriors charge, if you're not using the Umbral Spell Portal, then they get +1 to wound. So maybe it's not always necessary to teleport them into combat unless you want to avoid like Unleash Hell. Because if you are charging these warriors, they're going to get +1 to wound. So unless you're avoiding getting shot or really doing some funny business with getting them into all the different units, set them up 3 inches away. That way you still have a 3-inch charge with +1 from their War Scroll. Generally, you're not going to fail that. You're probably not going to fail that on a reroll, statistically speaking. And you can get that extra buff. So I do have some pictures here of some deployments and what that actually looks like on the table. Here's just a sample deployment through some guys out there. Oh, looks like I kind of forgot my Terror Wings in there. We've got our Croxagora over here on the left. We've got our big unit of warriors over on the right, kind of blocked by my aggressively positioned Realm Shaper engine. But the deployment zones were all the way to the middle here. Our territories were all the way to the middle here. And so I was able to put that one up as more of a blocking piece and to help buff their bites if I threw them into range of that. This battle plan, we are only 18 apart, so that makes it even easier to get these guys in. But they wouldn't normally have made this charge. And it would have been a hard charge, even if they were running and charging from 18 inches away for the warriors. So this makes it a lot easier to get them in. We can see some fulminators over there. You definitely don't want fulminators charging you. This is what my son was abusing me with earlier, was a giant block of fulminators. Actually, I think there was a 4 and a 2. But it illustrates pretty well how, if somebody's deploying aggressively with one unit and kind of keeping a unit in the back, you can get into all of that. After our standard teleport without Umbral Spell Portal, we're 3 inches away. You can see we spread out quite a bit more than what we would normally be able to achieve. That way we can make sure we can get all the warriors into combat. Pretend these all have spears. And so you can charge them with, in ranks where all the spears are going to be able to attack and get everything in. So you can really position these where you want to off of a teleport like that. If we had the Umbral Spell Portal, we're casting that, we're putting it either right in front or right behind. It really doesn't matter. We're going to have so much range. Getting that Umbral Spell Portal out there, throwing it 24 inches across the board is pretty good. And then you can see here we've teleported our our warriors through the Umbral Spell Portal into our enemy's lines and basically touched everything in their army. Now, is this a spot you normally want to be? No, but you've got 60 wounds on an effective 2-up save at -1 damage. This is going to be difficult for a lot of armies to chew through. This isn't warriors of old. These are tougher. They're contesting an objective here, so they get that natural +1 from their War Scroll. You've got Mystic Shield. You could all-out defense them if you want to. This is going to be a difficult unit to destroy. And if you can throw that into the enemy's lines, capture their objective here, really put the hurt on them starting in turn 1 to where they have to dig out of a pretty big hole to come even try to contest the rest of the board or fight your army. With those buffs that we did earlier, these Saurus warriors are no joke. 30 warriors with spears. This includes their bites. You're doing, over 45 damage versus a 4-up save. Because you have their natural -1 rend, you're giving them empowered Celestite for another +1 rend, so you're at +2, and then your spawn of Chotek hitting a target if that goes off. We assume it goes off when we do these numbers. It has a 50-50 chance of even hitting. Then you've got -3 rend. If you can prevent them from doing all-out defense with Terror Wings, I mean, it's just brutal, this combination of how much damage you can get onto them. So, incredible amounts of damage there from the warriors, especially because you can kind of position them how you want to, put them into whatever you want to, and put them anywhere you want to. All right, that's our insane spell combo there with the Telepathic Summons. Let me know what you think GW is going to do with this spell. Are they going to change it in the FAQ? Or are we going to get to keep teleporting our Saurus wherever we want to? For the time being, enjoy it and have fun. We'll see you guys next time.